It started with a wrong turn, the kind that doesn't feel wrong until you're already too far gone to turn back. 4 friends, Evan, Riley, Brooke, and Marcus, were driving through the Midwest, cutting across endless stretches of cornfields and back roads when their GPS rerouted them down a narrow dirt lane. It was evening, the sun low and bleeding across the sky, and none of them wanted to drive another 2 hours in the dark. So when Evan saw the shortcut pop up on his phone, he took it, trusting the little blue line that told him it would shave. 45 minutes off their trip, the lane wound deeper into the trees until the last of the farmland vanished behind them. Fog had begun to roll in, low and heavy, clinging to the ground like smoke. The dirt road narrowed until branches scraped against the car, and when the GPS signal cut out entirely, they were left with silence, no service bars, and nothing but woods. That was when Brooke saw it first, a shape through the mist, tall and crooked, rising from the middle of a clearing. A farmhouse, weather-beaten and gray, its windows broken, its porch sagging like it hadn't seen life in decades. Beside it stood a collapsing barn, its doors open just enough to reveal pitch blackness within. "Let's turn around," Brooke muttered, hugging herself. "We can't," Evan said. "There's no room to. We'll just pull in, check the map, then get back on track. 2 minutes. Marcus leaned forward, squinting through the windshield. "This place looks abandoned. Maybe there's an old landmine inside we can use. Or at least somewhere to stretch our legs," Riley smirked. "Yeah, because random murder houses in the middle of nowhere always turn out fine." But when Evan parked the car, gravel crunching beneath the tires, nobody said anything more. The silence was thick here. No wind, no birds, no crickets. It was like the world itself had forgotten this place existed. They climbed out, their footsteps crunching over brittle grass. The air smelled faintly metallic, like rust or blood. Riley was the first to the porch, brushing cobwebs from the warped door. Inside, the farmhouse was worse. Dust coated everything, yet the dust wasn't settled, it was disturbed, smeared. Across surfaces, as if someone had been here recently, a table stood in the middle of the room, and on it lay a collection of tools. Knives, shears, and saws, all lined up neatly. Some were new, sharp, and gleaming, while others were ancient, stained a deep brown. "Someone's here," Brooke whispered. "No way," Marcus said. "This place hasn't been lived in for years." Riley lifted one of the knives, inspecting. "It in the dim light doesn't look old to me." That was when the noise started. A dragging, metallic scrape, faint but unmistakable, rising from somewhere beneath the floorboards. They froze, glancing at each other. Rats. Evan offered. Weakly, "That's not a rat," Brooke said, dot in the corner. Hidden beneath a rotted rug, they found a trapdoor. It was half open, as though someone had forgotten to close it completely. The air that wafted up was damp and foul, thick with the smell of decay. "Nope," Riley muttered. "Absolutely not." But Marcus, stubborn as ever, lifted the door the rest of the way. Wooden stairs descended into shadow. The metallic scraping had stopped, replaced by silence so loud it throbbed in their ears that Evan turned on his phone's flashlight. Against his better judgment, he started down, the others reluctantly following. The basement was colder, the walls lined with stone. As the light swept across the room, the truth came into view. Tables stood in the center, stained dark with dried blood. Rusted hooks hung from chains bolted into the ceiling, swaying slightly as if touched by a breeze. Against the far wall stood shelves filled with jars, dozens of them, each containing murky fluid and what looked like preserved human body parts. Fingers, eyes, chunks of flesh. Brooke gagged, covering her mouth. Riley cursed under his breath. Then they saw the skeletons. 3 of them, slumped in the corner, their bones gnawed, Some cracked open as if something had chewed its way inside. Deep claw marks scarred the floor around them. "Let's go," Evan said, panic rising in his chest. Now, but before they could move, something stirred in the shadows. A shape peeled itself from the far corner, pale and misshapen. Its skin was stretched, stitched together crudely in patches, its limbs too long, its mouth torn wider than natural, stitched at the edges into a permanent bleeding grin. Its eyes were black hollows, glinting with hunger. It carried a sickle in one hand, rusted and chipped, and in the other a length of rope. The friend screamed, bolting for the stairs, but the creature was fast. It lunged, slashing across Marcus's back, tearing flesh open to the bone. He fell shrieking as blood poured across the dirt floor. Brooke grabbed his arm, trying to pull him up, but the creature yanked him back, dragging him toward one of the hooks. Marcus's screams turned animal as the thing hoisted him up, impaling him through the spine. His body convulsed, blood splattering across the stone wall. Brooke screamed so hard her throat tore. Stumbling toward Evan, Riley grabbed her, yanking her up the stairs as Marcus's gurgling shrieks echoed behind them. They slammed the trapdoor shut, hearts hammering, the sound of wet tearing rising from below. But the nightmare wasn't finished. Outside, the fog had thickened, smothering everything. In white, they sprinted toward the car, but the keys, Evan realized, were still in his pocket upstairs. When they turned, the farmhouse door stood wide open, though none of them had touched it. Shadows shifted inside, more than one this time. "Run!" Riley gasped. They bolted for the tree line, branches whipping at their faces as they crashed through the woods. Their breaths came ragged, their legs burning, but behind them footsteps pounded, heavy and fast. Something growled, guttural and wrong. The forest opened suddenly, revealing a field of scarecrows swaying in the mist. Dozens of them, strung on wooden poles. For a moment, relief flooded them, until Riley noticed the details. These weren't stuffed with straw. They were bodies, fresh bodies. Their faces stretched into masks of agony, their flesh crudely sewn with twine. One hung directly in front of him, its mouth open in a silent scream, and he recognized it. Marcus. His jaw hung at an impossible angle, his eyes glassy, his body already rotting in the cool night air. Brooke collapsed, sobbing. Oh God, no." A sound rose behind them, multiple voices moaning in unison. Shapes emerged from the fog, more creatures, each stitched together from the remnants of others. Carrying rusted farm tools, Riley swung a branch at the first one, but it caught him easily, sinking a hatchet into his collarbone. The blow split him open, blood spraying across the dirt. He screamed, his legs kicking as they dragged him toward the poles. Evan and Brooke ran, tripping over roots, their lungs tearing with every gasped. They broke free of the woods, stumbling into another clearing. The farmhouse loomed again, impossibly in front of them, as if the woods themselves had bent a trap. "Them here?" "No," Evan whispered. "We ran the other way." How the scarecrows lined the clearing, silent witnesses. The creatures circled, pushing them toward the field. Evan shoved Brooke ahead of him, screaming for her to run, but one of the stitched horrors hooked him through the leg with a pitchfork. He fell hard, dragged screaming into the rows of scarecrows. Brooke staggered alone, tears blinding her as she stumbled into the center of the field. The stench of rotting flesh suffocated her. She turned in circles, her screams breaking against the fog. The largest of the creatures stepped forward, towering over the others. Its body was a patchwork of dozens of faces stitched into its chest, each mouth silently screaming. It carried a long needle, curved and glinting in the pale moonlight, with a length of coarse twine trailing from it. Hands seized her, dragging her to the base of an empty pole. She thrashed, clawed, bit, but the grip was inhumanly strong. The giant bent low, its stitched grin splitting further as it drove the needle through her skin. Pulling twine tight, she shrieked as her flesh was pierced again and again, the sound of her own skin tearing joining the chorus of moans around her. Blood soaked her clothes, the twine drawing her body against the wooden frame. Her vision blurred as her screams grew weaker, drowned beneath the sound of the harvester's guttural chants. The last thing she felt was her skin being sewn shut across her mouth, silencing her forever. And as the fog closed in, the field of scarecrows swayed gently in the windless night, their bodies fresh, their eyes wide, their souls trapped in eternal agony at Black Hollow Farm.
Please like and subscribe channel Fear Frequency for more horror stories. Thank you.